Broadcast. Oh, apparently it's going already. Good to know. I'm on anyway. Sim Horse Racing. Sim Horse Racing's channel. Live now, Baltimore Crown. And now I can hear myself. Oh god, I don't like hearing myself. Close it. Okay. Reload and see if you can hear me. Do. My kids are watching Lady and the Tramp because that's the movie of choice tonight. Every time they say, Mommy, we want to watch Lady and the Tramp, I bust out some, This is the night, the most beautiful night. And then they go, Stop singing, Mommy. And I'm like, Nope, you wanted Mommy singing Lady and the Tramp. So I think everybody can hear me now, which is excellent. Sorry, distraction. Anyway, so tonight's Derby night. No, it's not. Today it's Baltimore Crown night, with the ultimate goal of this night to find out whether Dragonfly can become the third horse in 5 years to win the second leg of the Triple Crown and go for the triple, or if Kaiser Soze was so much the best in the Derby, which we all are pretty much in agreement that he is, or that he was, is he just going to run away with this one? Or is it going to be one of the doctor foals? There's a whole bunch of doctor speed in that race, and it seems like Allensy last year, the doctors are just at a mile and 3/16, they're a little bit unbeatable. So that is the question of the night. But we have 4 races tonight, and all 4 of them are stacked, top to bottom. Very, very good fields. I'm very happy with the way the races turned out tonight. Granted, this first race that we have is the mile and 1/16 Baltimore Distaff. There's only 5 horses in here. Pretty sure 3 of them are Grade 1 winners, although Scott Island, tonight's MC, will check that for you. But what else can you ask for? The only horse missing is Paint the Night, and she ran in the Desert World Cup. Cut her some slack, you know? So, anyway. Yeah. Without further ado, 1 minute early, but we've only got a few minutes to talk about this race. 6 minutes to post. Don't forget to bet, because betting for the daily double, pick 4, pick 6, all of that will close before this race goes. So here is Scott Island to talk about these horses.
Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen of the Sim, and welcome to exclusive coverage of Baltimore Crown Day, live from Baltimore Racecourse in Baltimore, Maryland. I am your host, Scott Island, and I am bursting at the seams of joy to bring you my favorite city, Baltimore, Maryland, the land of crab cakes and pain. Without further ado, let's go right into the Baltimore Distaff. This is an 8.5 furlong race. For those of you scoring at home, it's a mile and 16ths for older fillies, 4 years and up, for a cool $200,000. Got 3 graded stakes winners here and a couple of horses who are guaranteed in their money. So let's just break down the field. Leading off in post 1 is Angelic Face. She is owned by Cassie Trust, but was bred by the sage Keith Maidlow. She is 4 for 11 on her career with $25,000 in earnings. She is there to earn a check. Basically, her last 3 outings have been claimers and a 7th place finish in the Agent Keen Stakes week 15. So congratulations, Angelic Face. You're going to profit from this race. Congratulations. In the 2-hole is Spectacular Affair. Spectacular Affair, owned and bred by Jake Toward. She is man of mystery out of the Ice and Fire mare, Neapolitan. Jake's had a couple of fillies who are really nice out of that mare. This horse is 6 for 10 in her career with $1.1 million in earnings. She is coming off a career best speed figure of 91 in the Girls' Night Out Handicap, defeating Lance Dance for Me and Fame just 3 weeks ago. So she should be rested and ready to go. She came in fourth in the Stewards Cup Distaff and in her last big race, but she is the defending champion of the Louisville Oaks. She was the defending champion of the Louisville Oaks. Excuse me. She won the Louisville Oaks as last year, so she does love the short routes, and she should be the favorite here tonight. One of the horses that might be kind of lurking on the outside here is Keyleth for Keyleth Entry. Keyleth is owned by Jolene Danner and bred by the steward. By Doc Holliday out of Parting Aways, an Awake as I Am mare. She has only won twice in her career, but has garnered $177,000 in earnings. She is a steward bred. She's coming off a victory in an NW2 allowance over Anointed in Flames, winning with an 85 speed figure. This basically is her first win after a series of losses after breaking her maiden week 13 of year 44. So just 2-6, just 2-6-0 out of 11 starts. She can't be. Jolene's probably not pleased with her race record. Obviously, she's in her barn primarily as a broodmare, but we'll see if she can have a better effort here today. In the fourth hole is the other co-favorite in this race, Harmonize. Harmonize is owned and bred by the Babe Ruth of the sim, Laura Ferguson. She is by Mint out of the URIM mare, May Angels Lead You In. She is 5 for 10 on her career with 5 places to go along with her 5 wins. So she's never finished less than second. So you could probably win a 1 to 9 odds on a place bet for those of you. Oh, wait, we don't have place bets yet. She's got $1.5 million in earnings, and she's coming off a victory in the Holiday Weekend Stakes, a 3.5 length yawner over Intervault. Let's see, her best effort in a major race is the Louisville Oaks, coming in second, and of course winning the Stewards Cup Juvenile Fillies as a freshman, beating Your Hand in Mind as a 2-year-old. So as at a 4-year-old, we can see if she can keep the fire burning as she gets a little bit older. She's going to be tangling with Spectacular Affair down the stretch. We'll see who's got more to give. The 1 5-year-old in the field is Best Kept Secret. Best Kept Secret is owned and bred by Mike Bryant by Keep Your Promise, the Stewards Cup Classic winner, out of Just Breathe, the Just Victory mare. She's 8 for 18 on her career. She's capability of pulling out a big effort, as she did in the Metropolitan Matron last year with wire-to-wire finish, but she's going to have a tough time doing that from the 5-hole with this field. So I would expect her to be on the outside, but she's an excellent show bet and could possibly challenge for the lead. So that's your field. I'm going to go ahead and pick Spectacular Affair here today, but it could be Harmonize, and it could even be Best Kept Secret. That would be spectacular, and if Keyleth jumps up and wins, that means that Emily gets to shout Keyleth, and that's good for all of us. Without further ado, let's kick us back to the steward, who's going to take us to the call.
Thank you, Scott, and it is post time. Don't forget, bets are due. I'll give you about 30 more seconds to get those bets in, just in case you feel strongly about that. Hopefully I didn't burst Joseph's eardrums. You don't need them anyway, buddy. Okay, the bets are closed for week 7, day 5, 8 p.m. Where did the chart go? Hey, I found it. It helps if you close the chart too, though, or the race, I mean. It's early in the day, guys. Early in the day. Okay, betting pool closes at $1,800. Clearly, no one's here or cares, but we're going to forge on anyway with this spectacular grade 2 event that's not even a grade 1. So who knows what I was talking about earlier. They're off, and it was a terrible start. 4 of the 5 horses are a bit slow. Harmonize slow to begin, and then Best Kept Secret stumbled. Spectacular Affair had to take up off of that one, and Angelic Faces last early, which leaves Keyleth going out to the lead, but here's Harmonize battling back, and Best Kept Secret. Those 3 show speed, then Spectacular Affair. Angelic Face is going to drop 2 lengths out last as they go around the first turn. It is Harmonized and Best Kept Secret, Keyleth 3 wide. Spectacular Affair tucked in there too, and then there's 3 lengths back to Angelic Face. So they turn down the backside, and Harmonize now is kicked clear by a length. Harmonize our leader. Best Kept Secret second after the bad break, but she's in good position now. Caleth has moved up to be third, and she is still 2.5 lengths ahead of Spectacular Affair, who has 3 lengths on Angelic Face, which means it's about 7 lengths front to back. They've got half a mile left to go in the Baltimore Distaff, and Harmonize is leading by a length. Best Kept Secret is the one she's keeping at bay. Spectacular Affair gains a spot and passes Caleth. Angelic Face is losing even more ground. She's 5 lengths back as they come to the top of the stretch, and Harmonize needs to get going. Harmonize has asked for more. Best Kept Secret cannot keep up because here comes Spectacular Affair. She's in second, and now she's up alongside Harmonize, and it's going to be these two. Spectacular Affair on the outside and Harmonize on the rail. Best Kept Secret back third. Spectacular Affair, she's kicking away now, and just as she did last year, Spectacular Affair, she's going to win it easy. Spectacular Affair to win. Harmonize will be second, then Best Kept Secret and Caleth. The official winner is Spectacular Affair. She's a 4-year-old chestnut filly by Man of Mystery out of Neapolitan by Ice and Fire. She is a homebred for Jake Ward, and this is her 7th win in 11 starts. Also, I want to steal her. Next up, we have the Baltimore Special, and this race is only 6 horses, but it is stacked. So to preview them, here is Scott.
Congratulations, Jake. Well done. You're much better than your former brother, Jack. I don't know what happened to him. But anyway, congratulations on the big win. Up next is the Baltimore Special. This is the place I like to call it where people who are scared of Dubai but still good come to race. But in this case, we're all going to have to deal with Alonzi. So let's go ahead and break down the field. It's a mile and 3/16. So here we go. Up first is Abe Froman's Stewart bred Sharpshooter. Abe purchased Sharpshooter for $5.1 million as a yearling. He is by Easy on the Eyes out of a Better Me and Awake as I Am mare, and is 4 for 11 on his career with $1.1 million in earnings. His career best is a 96 speed figure in the Bubbly Stakes a couple of years ago towards the end of the year. But he's coming off a victory in the Loki Dynasty Stakes, rebounding off a disappointing 4th in the Pegasus Classic. Sharpshooter defeated Addicted to Chaos and All the Time in that Loki Dynasty victory. So that is a quality win. So the question is, can Abe's charge win this race under the gun with Alonzi looming in the weeds? We'll find out. Up next is the recently semi-retired Art Vandelay's homebred, Ready Freddy. Ready Freddy is a 4-year-old colt by Easy on the Eyes out of Hold Her Tight, a Messiah mare. He is 5 for 11 on his career with a little short of $1.1 million in earnings, a career best speed figure of 98. His last outing is a 3rd place finish to Gryffindor and Elusive Words in the Arcadia Million 3 weeks ago. Prior to that, he won the Founding Fathers Handicap to lead off year 46 and came in 3rd in the Awesome Derby as a 3-year-old in Louisiana, losing to Gryffindor and Axis Monday to do so. His career best victory is probably his career achievement is a victory in the Queen's Derby, coming off as a slight underdog to Alonzi, and you never know. So he has beaten Alonzi, but it was at a full 10 furlongs. Can he beat him going a little bit shorter? We're going to find out here today, because the big favorite, likely 1-9 or so, is Alonzi. Alonzi is by Doctor out of the Other Man mare Rose, owned and bred by Susie Rydell. Alonzi is 10 for 13 on his career with $6.3 million in earnings. That includes a victory in the Pegasus Classic Week 2. Now, he is coming off a loss under sloppy conditions at 10 furlongs to Captain My Captain, but it's going to be difficult to see who can beat him here today, especially if he grabs the lead early. As you can see, he loves to wire the field. If you look at his past performances, he came in 3rd in the Derby, weakening late. But other than that, it's hard to find a weakness here. So Susie Rydell, the dominant favorite going into the race tonight. But as they say, anything can happen, and Bring the Darkness sure hopes that he can be the one to make it happen. This Aaron Sanderson purchased Stewart bred is by Oncoming Storm out of Chapel, a War Daddy mare. He is 6 for 11 on his career with $500,000 in earnings. He is coming off a victory in the Jet Ski Handicap, closing late to defeat Susie Rydell's Degrassi, and love is your name to do so. Um, the question I have is, will there be enough room for Bring the Darkness to close late on Allons-y? Aaron Sanderson thinks there's a possibility, and we'll have to find out. She purchased Bring the Darkness for $3.1 million. He is still searching for that signature victory as a 4-year-old. So hopefully Aaron can do that for her horse here tonight. In the 5 hole is President Reagan. President Reagan is a homebred for Scott Island. He is by Terror Time out of the Stay Inside mare Reagan. He is 8 for 18 on his career with $1.2 million in earnings and is coming off a victory in the Out of Kindness Stakes just 3 weeks ago, defeating the Great Wave and Oncoming Tour. It's been a up and down career for President Reagan. His bumbling and confused owner couldn't figure out who he was for a while. But he's a nice, really short rider, and he's hoping that he can take advantage of possibly a slip by Allons-y and 2 other horses in the field to try to take the victory. But I don't care. He's already made his money. The horse doesn't owe me a thing. I just hope he runs well. And in the 6th hole is Oncoming Tour. Dee's Racing Stable purchased this Josh Lamp bred when Lamp dispersed. He is 5 for 13 on his career with $162,000 in earnings, but cannot be dismissed entirely as he has run up to a 98 speed figure, doing so in a losing effort in the Assault Stakes week 14 last year. He's a little bit stretched here, and he's probably on the outside looking in if you look at the skill of the rest of the horses, but it's just because the field is so stacked that it's going to be a tough one. But he's coming off an 80 in the Out of Kindness Stakes, coming in third to President Reagan in the Great Wave. He did win an allowance recently, so he can't be dismissed entirely. But this is going to be Allons-y's race to lose, or can one of his rivals overtake him at the end? We're going to find out here in just a couple minutes when the steward does the call. So, Emily, if you're ready, how about your insights?
Obviously, this is Allons-y's race to lose. Like, that's just duh. I mean, horse is coming off. He won the Pegasus, and then she tried the 1.25 mile again against Captain My Captain, a horse who really wants a 1.25 mile, and he got nipped by a neck. Now he shortens up again, and just for interesting whatever, Captain My Captain wheels back again today and wins again. So that was no slouch. I figure Captain My Captain will be a major player in the Stewards Cup this year. So now that he's back at his best distance on a track that he loves, should Allons-y walk in this race, or will there be some kind of upset? To me, any one of these horses, maybe not Oncoming Tour, but the rest of them are right there. The horse that I have a funny story about is Bring the Darkness for Aaron Sanderson. She was complaining about him after he lost a 1.5 mile allowance race to me. And I was like, I guess she'd asked me, like, should I point for the Desert World Cup? And I was like, open up your eyes and look at your animal. It is not this hard. This horse is unbeaten at 1.125 miles, and he cannot win going a step longer than that. Like, it's not that hard to figure out what you should be doing with this horse. Should you point for the Desert World Cup? No! But in between 1.125 miles and 1.25 miles is this weird 1 3/16 distance that is like an even level playing field kind of distance for horses that have a lot of speed and maybe a pedigree to go a little bit further than the typical 1.125 miles. So we'll Bring the Darkness like 1 3/16 miles. We're about to find out. Does it even matter because Allons-y's in the race? Well, that's a different question. So it is post time. It's hard for it to be post time when you accidentally close the race, but we're trying to make it happen here. It's just your typical Friday over at the steward's house. Okay, the betting pool closes at $25,400. They're off, and Bring the Darkness stumbled badly at the start. Ready Freddy was out poorly as well, but the other 4 are away well. Field of 6, and 2 of them broke badly. Allons-y, as expected, right to the front end, and he's going to be pressed by Sharpshooter. Those 2 zone out early and run away from the field. They've already got 4 lengths on Ready Freddy in third, then Oncoming Tour, Bring the Darkness, and President Reagan. So they go under the wire the first time, and Alonzi is leading by a neck with Sharpshooter breathing down his side. They've got 4 lengths on Ready Freddy, sitting all alone in third. He's got a length on Oncoming Tour. Then comes Bring the Darkness and President Reagan, those two side by side at the back of the field. So they go down the backstretch, and Alonzi, he's still got his head in front, but he is being pressed every step of the way by Sharpshooter. They now have 6 lengths on Ready Freddy. Another 2 to Oncoming Tour. Oncoming Tour is starting to get away from the closers. Bring the Darkness has 5 more lengths to come. President Reagan would have to make up 13 to get all the way to the lead. And at the half-mile pole, we have a new leader. Alonzi has cracked, and Sharpshooter has taken over. Sharpshooter is starting to shake clear of Alonzi. Ready Freddy would still have 5 lengths to come, but he's starting to move now, and Ready Freddy is the danger. Then Oncoming Tour and Bring the Darkness. They're at the top of the lane. Sharpshooter, he's got the lead by a length, but Alonzi is battling back, and those two are kicking away from Ready Freddy again. Ready Freddy can't keep with them. Then Bring the Darkness, who's closing, and President Reagan too. We're down to 2, though. It's Sharpshooter and Alonzi. These two heads apart, neck and neck. Sharpshooter, Alonzi, and it will be a photo in the Baltimore Special. Ready Freddy was third, Bring the Darkness was fourth, and President Reagan. The results of the photo are in. The winner was Sharpshooter by a nose. Sharpshooter upset Alonzi. He was bred by the steward and is owned by Abe Froman. This is his 5th win in 12 starts. And he gets close to $2 million in earnings. Not quite, though. Next up, we have the Baltimore Oaks. A nice big field of 10 here. These are some lovely animals. So to preview them, here is Scott Allen.
Congratulations, Abe. Well done. I like to think that my horse had an impact on that. He did not. Anyway, let's go ahead and do this. And can you all bet? Because there's only $400 in the betting field here. So we do something about that for the Baltimore Oaks, folks. It's another 1 3/16 race. Weather's beautiful outside. I mean, even though it is Baltimore, and therefore it smells like despair. It's a nice day, you know, and the dirt's nice, you know, in good shape and all that. So let's lead off with Cynics and Critics. This horse is a homebred for Allie Hedgestone by Skipping Stone out of Cast in Stone, a thriller mare. She is 2 for 5 in her career with $51,000 in earnings. She did crack an 88 to break her maiden, but it's coming off a 4th place finish in the Glory Stakes. This is a bit of a reach for her. She did win an NW2 leading into that, but she has not won a stakes race yet. It's going to be tough to lead off with the Baltimore Oaks as your stakes debut victory. Up next is Sachinach, owned and bred by Aaron Sanderson, by Man of Mystery out of Fairy Murmur. Fairy Murmur, very familiar for those of us who have been following, Aaron's barn. She's got a very consistent mare there in Fairy Murmur. Sassenach hoping to become the superstar of the bunch. For some reason, I thought her siblings did better than they did. I don't know. Anyway, point is this: she's coming off a 2nd place finish to Rainette in the Southern California Oaks 3 weeks ago. Prior to that, came in 2nd place again in the Skyfall Stakes to You Are Special. Her stakes victory was in week 15 of last year at the Inglewood Starlet, with a nice 88 speed victory over Magical Source and Equibase. And this is after she slipped and face planted to start the race. So she's talented, and we'll see how she does with this big field. Up next is the bumbling Art Vandelay homebred Midnight Thunder. Midnight Thunder is by Oncoming Storm out of The Person You Are, a Maelstrom mare. She is 4 for 6 in her career with $327,000 in career earnings, coming off a narrow defeat to Sleep No More in the Glory Stakes just 2 weeks ago. Prior to that, she won the Sunshine Oaks and finished a game 4th place in the Stewart Cup Juvenile Fillies, closing out her freshman season. She likes the lead and wired the field three times before losing in the Stewards Cup Juvenile Fillies. So we'll see how she does out of the three hole. That's Midnight Thunder. Up next is Princess, a steward bred purchased or leased by Xander Zone by Firefly out of Bride and Eastmare. I'm kind of familiar with that family. She's got just one victory on her career, but $152,000 in earnings. That's because of a second place finish in the Fantastic Stakes and a third place finish in the Raimondo Cup. This is another horse that wants to be on the lead, and so there's going to be a lot of speed in this race. I surmise. This is me analyzing things analytically over here. But with just one victory, Princess is going to be a long shot here tonight. Up next is Love of My Life, homebred for Eric Nalbone. This is the horse that makes me want to vomit the most. She is by Messiah out of Lauren, a Vortex mare. That's right. Eric's got a horse out of Lauren. She's 4 for 5 on her career with $243,000 in earnings. And to her immense credit, won the Desert Oaks, wiring the field with an 89 speed figure just 3 weeks ago. So there's plenty of time to ship her back in. In her 5 entries, she's only lost once, and that was in the Toward Night Stakes to Lady Stowe Divine, race that Sleep No More couldn't win either. So that looked like a tougher field than the money probably dictated. Anyway, Love of My Life looks to be a very nice filly here, and is a very live shot tonight. Up next is Jack Myers' homebred, River of Ghosts. She is by Messiah out of the Blue Hen mare, Hallowed Halls, Harry Potter mare. She is 3 for 5 in her career with $116,000 in earnings. I can hear Jack grumbling from here, but she did win the Apple Oaks in Hawaii just 2 weeks ago, then shipped across the country and across the Pacific Ocean to try to do this wheelback in 2 weeks. River of Ghosts won the Apple Oaks by a length and 3/4, came in third in the Silver Bullet Stakes, losing to Some Other Girl and Soothe Your Fear. In the juvenile fillies, came in seventh, losing to Chasing Joy and Rainette in that in the Big Stewards Cup last year. So River of Ghosts for Jack Meyer. Up in the 7th hole is Heartbeat, the steward bred purchase by Brandon McNulty for a paltry $1.3 million. She is by Linguistics out of a Windseeker mare named Goodbye. She is 2 for 5 in her career with $58,000 in earnings, but that includes a 91 speed figure in an NW2 lifetime race just 5 weeks ago. Then 3 weeks ago came in second in the Warm Stakes to Lady So Divine. So she can compete with the big ones, with the good ones, and we'll see if Brandon's horse can take a little step up here in tonight's Grade 1. Up next is Carolyn Eaton's homebred, named after the worst show in the history of HBO TV, True Blood. She's by homebred. She's by American Pharaoh out of Flightfully Fast, a Just Victory mare, and she is 3 for 5 on her career with $225,000 in earnings. She came in third in the Albuquerque Park Oaks because New Mexico is looking at True Blood and saying, this is a Breaking Bad country, folk. I'm sorry, you lose to Smoke Show. That's at least how I see it. Anyway, she came in third to Smoke Show, lost in the Border Oaks, a Grade 3. So there's a question: is this horse any good? Because she's won the Game Point Side Stakes, but nothing else. But is she good enough to go up against the big ones here? I don't think so. And I'm not blaming it on her name, although her name does stink.
Post time. Let's go.
Up next is Last for Years for Ronnie D. Is by Steward Bred, purchased for $4.1 million. She's coming off a victory in an NW2. She's never been in a stakes race before, as can be said by her, just $27,000 in earnings. I don't know what Ronnie's doing. Up and in the 10th spot is Dazzled, the Laura Ferguson owned Steward Bred, purchased for $20 million by Messiah out of Garland, a sword mare. She is just 2 for 5 with a victory in an allowance race 3 weeks ago with an 89 speed figure. That is Dazzled. And that is your field. Emily?
I know that everyone can hear me yelling in the background, so I feel awkward now, but whatever. That's just how that goes. So yeah, post time for the Baltimore Oaks. A field of 10. Do we have confirmation that that horse's name is Sassenach? Because I just feel like that isn't it, but it probably is. I'm looking it up really quickly before I have to say it. Does anyone ever find that when you like need Google in the moment, it doesn't load? Like it's just no. Yeah, it's Sassenach. Don't make me say Sassenach. It's Sassenach. Okay, that aside, it's post time. They're off in the Baltimore Oaks. Love of My Life was one step slow, and Sassenach bobbled the break. True Blood and Dazzled both slow as well. Stumbles for True Blood and Dazzled, so it's kind of a rough start for the field of 10. Midnight Thunder was away well, though, and Midnight Thunder is hustled out to the lead. Love of My Life joins her, and then Princess, River of Ghosts, and those four kick on. Heartbeat settles back fifth alongside Sassenach with Love Last for Years, Dazzled, True Blood, and Cynics and Critics is the trailer. So they go under the wire the first time around the first turn, and it is Midnight Thunder dueling with Love of My Life and Princess, River of Ghosts in there too. So those four have 2 lengths on the rest. Heartbeat, Sassenach, Last for Years, Dazzled, True Blood, and then Cynics and Critics. No rest for Midnight Thunder. She's still a neck in front, but being pressured by Love of My Life. A length back to Princess, and then River of Ghosts. Those four are still on the front end. 3 lengths back to Heartbeat. She sits all alone in the fifth spot with Last for Years a length behind her. Sassenach is seventh. True Blood, Dazzled, and Cynics and Critics. They've got a half-mile left to run in the Baltimore Oaks, and Midnight Thunder has now snuck away to lead by a length. Midnight Thunder making noise on the front end with Love of My Life sitting second still. Heartbeat has moved up between horses, and now she's third, defeating Princess, who's dropping out. Sassenach is coming on. Last for Years. River of Ghosts is done. Dazzled, True Blood, and Cynics and Critics. Those three need to get going if they want to make noise. They're at the top of the stretch, and Midnight Thunder tries to kick away. She's got Love of My Life, beat Sassenach, and here's Heartbeat in between them flying. Now we're down to 2. Midnight Thunder and Heartbeat kicking away from Love of My Life. It's Midnight Thunder still, but Heartbeat has her measure, and Heartbeat is going to run her down and run away. Heartbeat is going to be the winner of the Baltimore Oaks, not the Midnight Oaks, the Baltimore Oaks. Midnight Thunder second, Love of My Life was third, and then Sassenach. The official winner is Heartbeat. She's a 3-year-old chestnut filly by Linguistics out of Goodbye by Windseeker. She was bred by the steward and is owned by Brandon McNulty. This is her third win in 6 starts. Next up, we have the last race of the day, and it's only 11 minutes to post with a field of 12. The Baltimore Crown. Quite the field here. Anyone's race. That's not the MC button. This is the MC button. So here is Scott Island.
Congratulations, everybody. And I'm going to do a lot better this time. Up first is Direwolf. Direwolf is a homebred for Rebecca Rose Hepburn. She is by Mint out of Sunrising, a Maelstrom mare. She's 2 for 5 for her career, but has a career best speed figure of 96 that she garnered in her maiden debut. She's pretty awesome, but she did come in second narrowly to Album of the Year in her stakes debut, and then came in third in the Stewards Cup Juvenile. He did come in third in the Stewards Cup Juvenile for winning the Battle Cry Stakes and laying back and trying to take down the Louisville Derby off one prep. It did not work. He came in 11th, but he's back to see if perhaps the pedigree, which tends very well for this distance, will work here today. In the 2-hole is Kilgrave. Kilgrave is owned and bred by Cleopatra. He is by Man of Mystery out of Sacred and Messiah Mare and is 4 for 6 on his career with a career best speed figure of 98 garnered in the Louisiana Jackpot in a losing effort as a 2-year-old. He is coming off a 6th place finish in the Louisville Derby, but was racing up near the leaders until fading down the stretch. That means that maybe the shorter distance will do well for Kilgrave. Kilgrave for Cleopatra in the 2-hole. Up next is the horse everybody is talking about today. That is Dragonfly, the homebred for Susie Rydell. He is by Man of Mystery and Out of Amber, the Awake as I Am Supermare. He is coming off a victory in the Louisville Derby that he pretty much wired, defeating Kaiser Soze and Circle of Life in a brilliant effort. And what more can be said? He came off a two pronged Florida prep into the Louisville Derby. Now we find out what he can do as an encore just 1 week later. Up next is Crimes Between Us. This is a steward bred purchased by Keith Maidlow for $2.3 million. As my voice starts to fall apart from being used all day, he Crimes Between Us is 3 for 6 in his career, has never finished lower than second, but is coming off a victory in the Panama Jewel. This horse was away from the Derby Trail, so we're going to find out how he does against better competition here today. Up next is Judge of Time. Judge of Time is a steward bred owned by Nene Hunter, purchased for $4.5 million by Doctor out of Harmony, a Flames mare. He is 4 for 6 in his career for $240,000 in earnings. He's coming off a victory in Week 5's Lexington Racecourse Stakes over Film and Doomsday Gaze. In the Sunshine Park Derby, Judge of Time was right there with Dragonfly before Dragonfly grabbed him at the end. The question really is, can Judge of Time improve just a little bit and for a little longer? Because he's quite the horse, and the question is, can Nene get what will be her first Triple Crown race with this very, very nice colt? Up next is the Cinderella story, Saturday Silence. This horse came out of nowhere to win last year's Stewards Cup Juvenile, and then lost in the Texan Derby before picking up a wire-to-wire victory in the Keyboard Courage Stakes. He then finished 8th in the Louisville Derby, closing fast. The question is the shorter distance what was better for Saturday Silence, or was he just a flash in the pan for John Exat? He's by Espoir City out of the Zulu Dancer mare Eve, and is 3 for 5 in his career, $1.1 million in earnings. In the 7th hole is Steelheart. Steelheart is owned by Michael Lookery, purchased him from the steward for almost $11 million. He's by Man of Mystery out of the Supermare Chocolate. He's 3 for 5 in his career with a 98 career best speed figure in the American Pharoah Stakes. That was last year, week 11. He came in to he just did one prep leading into the Derby, winning the Sun Devil Derby with a 91 before coming in 4th in the Louisville Derby. I wonder if 2 preps would have been better for him. I mean, we'll be wondering that forever. But he's a very good horse, very well bred. We're going to see if the shorter rest is going to benefit him or not. Up next is Chris Bobby's horse that we're going to forever wonder about what would have happened if Storm Up Ahead got a better post draw than what he got in the Louisville Derby. He drew the 1 hole and ran a game race, but came in 5th in the Louisville Derby. That's after starting his career off 5 for 5. He has got $395,000 in earnings. Was purchased, by the way, for $13.5 million from the steward by Rambling Out of All That I Am. So there's nothing that can be said about the pedigree that hasn't already been said. He's going to have the speed, and he can definitely win this kind of race. We're going to find out if he can rise up here today. In the 9th hole is Rolling in the Deep for Art Vandelay. Art Vandelay's colt is by Man of Mystery out of Adele, the gloriously well-bred 9 furlong specialist by Rambling. Rolling in the Deep is 3 for 6 in his career, $170,000 in earnings. Recently won the St. Louis Derby just a week and a half ago. So we're going to see if he can recover and that quickly in just a week and a half and win the crown. It's going to be tough. I don't think anybody's ever done the St. Louis Derby to the Baltimore Crown. So so Art Vandelay's trying to break new ground here. Prior to that, he won the Prize of Mexico after losing the end result stakes to Storm Up Ahead, week 1. Number 10 is Scissorhands. Scissorhands is is a steward bred owned by Todd Lucas, was purchased for $1.5 million. He's by the Pumpkin King out of River Tam, a Firefly mare, and is 6 for 7 on his career with almost $300,000 in earnings. He's coming off a first place finish in the Herkimer Stakes, beating the Swordmaster and Bartlett to do so. We don't see him beating a lot of the field here. He came in 6th in the Stewards Cup Juvenile, so he's going to be probably not among the top shots here gambling wise, but he's got the pedigree to do it, and it's about right on the distance. Looks like a 9 furlong specialist could possibly stretch. This horse is probably going to want to be on the lead, though. It's going to be tough to get there from the 10 spot. We'll find out what happens. In the 11 hole is Happy This Way. Happy This Way is by is a steward bred owned by Art Vandelay. It was purchased for 13.5 million at the TBS mixed sale. He's by easy on the eyes out of Just One Kiss award rating there. He is 5 for 6 in his career with $332,000 in earnings, coming off a ninth place finish in the Derby. But that's after running off a 5 race winning streak to begin his career. That includes victories in the Thriller Stakes, the Louisiana Jackpot, the R Lions Real Stakes, and the Oyster Bay Stakes. So he spent a lot of time in New York and Kentucky, pretty much. He stopped off in Louisiana and ran off in 100, so that's pretty cool. Happy This Way in the 11th spot for Art Bailey. And that'll close it out with Kaiser Soze. Kaiser Soze is owned and bred by Laura Ferguson. He is by Rambling out of the Keyboard Courage Mare Inspiration. He is 5 for 6 in his career with $827,000 in earnings and narrowly lost to Dragonfly in the last Louisville Derby just a week ago. This is after he swept the California prep races, winning the Pacific Coast Highway Stakes and the Southern California Derby in impressive fashion. This horse looks like he's every bit the superstar that we thought he was. And now, as luck has it, we get to see the rematch with him and Dragonfly here today. But it's going to be tough. Can Laura's Charge win out of the 12-hole? Wow, I can't wait to see it, folks. This is going to be one heck of a barn burner. Emily, what do you think is going to happen here?
Well, things are really dramatic right now in the world of Lady and the Tramp, guys, because there was a big fight with a rat, and then the police thing tipped over, and it smushed a dog, and then there was howling. Oh, that's not what you care about? Because that's definitely what I was just watching. Yeah, Baltimore Crown. Not the same topic. For real, though, I think this race is weirdly stacked. The only horse that's not here that I really would have liked to see is Circle of Life. I know that he's bred for the longer distances, but he was right there in the Louisville Derby, and historically, the horses that run second and third in the Louisville Derby are the ones who end up running back and winning the Baltimore Crown. That's just been proven year after year. It's like 65 or 70% of them do. It's not usually the Derby winner, and it's usually a horse with a little more speed, and I just kind of wish he was here, but he's waiting for the Long Island Classic, as some horses are. Then again, there's some horses in this race that I look at and think that maybe they would prefer the mile and a half, and maybe they should have waited. So the one horse that I'm really happy that he's in here is Judge of Time, because Susie Rydell pulled a Hail Mary. She knew this was the last good Amber colt. She really Amber had like 5 of them running the Derby or something. She wanted to get this horse to the Derby, right? She doesn't find a mile and an eighth maiden race, week 15, which was dumb on her part. So she debuts the horse this year in a really, really easy stake against nobody, and the horse airs, comes right back in the Sunshine Park Derby, and Dragonfly beats Judge of Time by a neck. Nene Hunter did not feel that Judge of Time was Derby caliber, and maybe he wasn't. But to see Dragonfly go on to win the Derby, of course you have to show up in this race, because if Judge of Time wins this, can you imagine? Like, poor Nene, she'd probably want to stab her eyes out. That's probably not appropriate for air, but I mean, this is a doctor who almost defeated Dragonfly last out. Like, Judge of Time was made for this race, so I'm really glad to see him in here. I'm glad to see Saturday Silence wheeled back with a shot. I'm glad to see Happy This Way wheeled back with a shot. There's a lot of horses who ran uncharacteristically badly in the Derby. I mean, there's 20 horses, well, 17 last in this year's case, but they're not bad horses. It's just the Derby. Someone has to finish there. So I'm really looking forward to this race. I think that it's going to be very, very excellent. The betting pool closes at $60,300. They're going a mile and a 16th, and that is an article I'm writing. That is also an article I'm writing. Where the heck is the call for the Baltimore Crown that I actually wrote down today? Hey, there it is. They're off, and it was a perfect start for all 12 runners. They're in good order, and here's Judge of Time squeezing between rivals going for the lead, joined by Dragonfly, Scissored Hands. Dire Wolf got shuffled back a bit on the rail. Kilgrave, rolling in the deep, crimes between us, Steelheart, storm up ahead, Saturday silence, happy this way, and then Kaiser Soze. So they plunge into the first turn, and Judge of Time vies with Dragonfly, but those two have put away the rest of the speed. Scissorhands, Kilgrave, and Direwolf are all together, rolling in the deep there too. Crimes between us, Steelheart, storm up ahead, Saturday silence, happy this way, and Kaiser Soze still the trailer in the field of 12 as they run down the backstretch. Dragonfly has gone clear of Judge of Time. Dragonfly leads by a length. 5 back to Scissorhands third. Direwolf alongside Kilgrave. Rollin' in the deep completes that wide group. Then Crimes between us. Steelheart storm up ahead. Happy this way. Saturday silence and then Kaiser Soze. They're coming to the half-mile pole. And Dragonfly still leads by nearly 2. Will it be another tour de force for Dragonfly? Judge of Time is closing, and here comes the closers. Steelheart moving between horses. Scissorhands is tiring. Saturday silence is flying. Here's Happy this way too. Then Storm up ahead and Kaiser Soze. Direwolf has spit the bit and Kilgrave nowhere to be found. They're coming to the top of the lane and Dragonfly is set down. Here comes Saturday silence rolling past Judge of Time. Happy this way is widest out in the center of the track. Steelheart, Kaiser Soze with his late kick, then Storm up ahead. It's Dragonfly. Saturday silence is flying. Saturday silence and Happy this way too. Judge of Time still there. Dragonfly needs the wire. Saturday silence, Dragonfly, and Happy this way. Dragonfly by a neck. Saturday silence second. Happy this way right there third. And then Judge of the Time hung tough fourth. Kaiser Soze too late today. He was fifth. Then Steelheart. And for the third time in 5 years, we have a Triple Crown on the line. The official winner was Dragonfly, who I just learned is not Dark Bay. He's a 3-year-old bay colt by Man of Mystery out of Amber by Awake as I Am. He's a homebred for Susie Rydell and is now 4 for 6 lifetime. I think he ran fast. Let me see if he ran fast. Oh, no, he didn't run as fast as the girls. Oh, no, he did. Math is hard. He ran 0.1 faster than the girls. It felt fast. So it went Dragonfly by a neck, then Saturday Silence by a half, Happy This Way by a neck, Judge of Time by a half, and then Kaiser Soze. Late kick, not enough today for Kaiser Soze. But what's all going to happen when they meet the King of Belmont, the King of the Long Island Classic, Danny Derby, with his Circle of Life 2 weeks from tonight? Will Dragonfly win the Triple Crown, or will everybody suddenly become Danny's best friend? That is the question of the day. That's it for us tonight. Don't forget to join us in 2 weeks. The MC will be Rebecca Rose Hepburn, and we will see you then.